You are listening to episode 316 of Game Deflators Podcast. My name is John, and I'm joined by Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators Podcast, we like to talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and we see what's brewing in this week's new episode of the Game Deflators.
So this week, we're actually joined by JRod of Fresh Brewed Games. JRod, thanks for coming on.
How's it going, guys? Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, going well. Appreciate you coming on. So JRod, if you want to give us a quick introduction on what Fresh Brewed Games is, and then where we can find you on social media, website, all of that.
Yeah, I'm JRod, the founder and physical game liaison at Fresh Brewed Games. We're the first premium certified steelbook distributor for video games on PlayStation 5. We do high-end 3D printed steelbooks and also full slip cases for AAA releases. We have some really exciting projects upcoming, and we want you to check out our website is www.freshsteelbookgames, Fresh Brewed Games on LinkedIn and Facebook. And then on Twitter, I don't really have like a social media, so it's just at GingrichJRod, my handle.
Sounds good, man. So you can, of course, find the Game Deflators on thegamedeflators.com. You can also find us on social media at Game Deflators on X and Blue Sky, I think is at Game Deflators. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, or Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at The Game Deflators. And of course, we're on YouTube, so go ahead and hit the little bell so you know when we're on. And of course, watch us on there or catch us on a podcast application where you can listen to us, leave us a 5-star review, and of course, leave lots of comments. Always appreciative.
Man, there's so much of that now.
Dude, I know. It's like it just keeps going and going. Every week, I think I have a new application for social.
It's tough getting out there, and I mean, trying to get the word out and everything. So we're, really happy to have you here today, JRod. Tell us a little bit about Fresh Brewed Games, getting into steelbook specifically. Like, what was it about that type of angle that made you really want to go at that?
Excellent question. Well, I'd probably say it started a few years back in 2019. I bought myself a little converted Scully. I was living in that, had limited space, and I was like, what would be great? I love physical movies for my PlayStation 4, so I collected Blu-ray steelbooks. The last couple years, I've been seeing more and more video games like that would deserve, like Stellar Blade, deserved a steelbook treatment, didn't receive one. So our company's here to step in, help the developers actually get a really nice steelbook release, but also putting time and care into it. A lot of companies will just like either take like some really basic promotional art or thing. With our company, we do WIA steelbooks, so it's world exclusive art. All of our artwork is originally commissioned by like an outside artist or in-house at the developer themselves. So it's being able to offer the absolute like coolest and most unique way of like collecting physically your favorite video games.
And then steelbook specifically, like what's beyond the Blu-ray? Is that just you prefer to collect steelbooks, or is it, like what's the kind of reason behind steelbooks specifically?
With me, I personally, when it comes to movies, I only collect steelbooks. If the movie doesn't come in, I'll either have a custom made or I just pretty much just leave it to streaming. So with video games, it's the same way. I predominantly only buy video games. Stellar Blade was like an exception, but usually it's always like the video games that like it has a steelbook, even indie games. So I'm like, hey, this one has a really cool one. I'm not a huge into this game, but I love the look of it, so I'm gonna put in an order. With us, it was that same mentality. It's like, hey, there's 30 limited print companies that already do standard releases. Let's do something different. And I think not only us doing something different, but something it really connects with users, and it's a good reason to like own the physical, because digital is just so much easier. It's cheaper. Why do you want to pay the extra amount? And I think it's having a better case, having a more attractive physical release of a game than just like, hey, I'm going to pay $40 for this PS5 game when I can pay $20 for it digitally. For $10 more, you're getting a holographic art card and a really high-end premium 3D printed steelbook.
Nice.
Yeah, steelbooks are sweet. Like I definitely remember back in the day getting like some GameStop pre-order steelbook version, like the RE5 one comes to mind the most. But like at the end of the day, if I was done with that game and I was going to trade it in, like I just kept that steelbook. Like I'll just trade in the disc. They give you the same price, and it's like, I'll just hang on to this for later because it's really cool.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 12 comes to mind for me.
Definitely, that was one of my favorite PS2 games ever. Ooh.
Yeah. So can you tell us a bit more about like the production process of the games? I was reading on your website that you guys are, it's not 4 years to get a game, right? Like you pre-order and you know, like when it's X date, you're going to get it by X date, right? Like how does your production process work? Do you have any guarantees in place? How do you kind of get to that point and say, we're not going to have you waiting long, we're not going to have you waiting a long time to get this product in hand?
Definitely. So with Fresh Brewed Games, we're a developer first studio. We really are trying to create, provide some really, freshly curated titles that speak to me. Cause I mean, ultimately, I'm the decision maker in terms of what we publish. So I'm looking for games that are attractive, really just great fun games. And also anything that has like a great offline mode. I live off grid. So having something to be able to play offline, it doesn't require connected to the internet, is great for us. With us, we print two products at a time. So once those two products are like go to production, then they get manufactured, and then we ship those out. And then we're going to produce 2 more next SKUs. So SKU 1 and 2 will be shipping at the same time, and then SKU 3 and 4 will be shipping at the same time. So they might open at like our first SKU, Seeddollama, that's currently available in Deadlink. We just signed a few weeks ago. That's in pre-production. We're currently working on the artwork for that. Once that's approved with the developer and publisher, we're gonna open the pre-order for that, and then that's going to go into full manufacturing. So, but at least you're not going to know, hey, once the first 2 SKUs are active, they go into production, and then SKU 3 and 4, after those are done, they go into production for SKU 3 and 4. So it's a really rapid and very transparent process. You're not waiting a long time, and and we actually share like development progress, like, hey, Seeddollama is currently in active production. The disc, we're just waiting on the developer to push one last patch. He's just doing a quick hot fix. He's going to add some minor DLC and actually some like really cool like buffs. So the rocket launcher didn't really go over with critics because it didn't do too much damage. So we're increasing that buff and just giving players the best version of the game they can have.
And speaking of Seeddollama, I haven't tried it yet, but you did send us a couple keys. So we are going to have a giveaway forward coming up pretty soon on one of those keys. So that'll be tagged onto this episode down the road. And yeah, so somebody will get a nice digital copy of Seeddollama, and it could potentially look at purchasing, of course. Well, I mean, it's limited, right? So if they want to get a
super limited
Seeddollama,
they've been struggling. The sales didn't really hit it for many publishers, so it's probably only going to be getting the PlayStation 5 Steelbook release. So it's really going to be, super special to players and collectors everywhere.
Yeah. Well, so in regard to like your releases over time, when we think about like Seeddollama, let's just say sales-wise, you guys sell 1,000, right? Is there going to be like a backlog people can kind of go in and purchase remaining Steelbooks that are just kind of waiting, or is it a first come first serve pre-order basis, and once pre-orders are done, that's it? How does your process work?
No, with us, the minimum we can do for production Steelbooks is 2,000. So we're doing the least amount, which is also cost us the most expensive, because like the new Deadpool and Wolverine probably cost Disney realistically like $2 to $3 just because they made so many of it. With 2,000 is the lowest. So with that, we print 2,000 of that in Deadlink. Once the pre-orders are going to be live with us for about 1 to 2 months exclusively, and then we're going to open up pre-orders on Walmart and Amazon. And then once the 2,000 is gone totally, then it's totally just we won't have any more in the warehouse.
Nice.
Okay, cool. And you said something earlier. There's like a card or something that's going to be coming with them or something.
Yeah. So
holographic card.
I like to say it's the holy trinity. You get the physical disc, all the whole entire game on disc, the 3D printed embossed glass steelbook, and then you're also going to get a holographic art card. It's going to be fit really nicely inside the steelbook. It'll have like key art from the game, and then the backside, we're hoping most of the releases we're aiming for doing like the controller setup. That way, instead, I'm not a big fan of instruction manuals, but it's great to be able to pull out your steelbook, your game. You're like, hey, I haven't played this in a year or 2 years. I want to play it again. Look at it quickly, understand what the controls are, and be able to jump in and have a great time.
I like that. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's something we struggle with all the time when we're playing like old.
Thank you.
Now, granted, it's only $2, but with some of these newer titles, it would be nice to have that controller layout just kind of present, right?
Right.
Yeah, definitely appreciate that. Ryan?
And then you have some kind of special internship program John was mentioning to me. Can you tell us a little bit about that? That sounds cool.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited. Our company's been well received so far. We actually partnered with the state of Oregon, and we're going to be partnering with Klamath Works and offering 2 paid internships. It's going to be for graphic design and social media. It's going to start in spring 2025 and summer 2025. We're actually going to be offering brand new opportunities to students here within the state of Oregon to get a paid first hands-on working in like the video game industry. So it's super exciting for them. The position's fully remote, so they don't have to like travel or anything, and they're going to be working with our in-house artists or with the actual developers of the product. If you guys are familiar with Mondo, they previously did a custom design for the steelbook and for the disc. So SKU 3 and 4 are going to have custom original disc artwork. So it's a very exciting time. We're the first company to really kind of ever do that. Even like limited run games, they've only really done like the reversible cover art, but never the disc art. So it's just, it's a great way for collectors, like, hey, I have this really cool disc and it's, one of 2,000 versus this guy has, like the 10,000 standard release and he just has, the same key art. It's like key art on the instruction manual on the disc art. We're giving players something. It really gives it that much personalization, like collectability to it.
Well, and now you just got to get a holographic cover for that disc. I don't know if that's possible.
I'm sure it is. If you've seen the Terminator 2 Steelbook from Best Buy, they did their 4K Ultra. I don't know if it was holographic or satin, but it had this really high-end finish to it, and it came out like a year ago. So I'm not sure. I know that most of the stuff at Sony prints in their disc manufacturing plants always matte. So
yeah,
but it's definitely a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean it's cool in general. As a smaller new company, being able to already kind of work with the state and kind of have that integration with younger, gaming aficionados to, really kind of look into pursuing their careers in that area. So it's pretty cool. I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean it's great for us, and we're just really excited to give back to the community and offer something really, like, let's say, profound. Being able to have that chance to like work with companies from all over the world. I'm like, hey, this is cool. I'm working on this for this new racing game or this new shooting game, and
yeah, that's great. Like just before, because it's high schoolers, right? Younger, like
yeah. Anyone enrolled, it's 19 years and younger that's enrolled in like an academic program in the state of Oregon.
Nice. Okay, so they could be like a freshman in college as well, then, in the beginning of their college program. Okay, that's cool. So what do you guys have coming soon as far as like from an organization perspective? So you mentioned you have like SKUs 3 and 4 coming out, but like you as a company, what do you have coming down the pipe in terms of areas of growth, or maybe other companies that you might be looking to talk with in the future? Like what's coming up?
Well, I'm excited to announce, and Friday we're talking about it. So our first 2 official SKUs that are going to production are Seeddollama, PlayStation 5, and then Deadlink, PlayStation 5. Our 3rd and 4th SKUs, we're really excited. We're talking with a lot of incredible companies. One thing I don't want to back myself in a corner is just having almost all shooter games from my label. So I'm looking for kind of gameplay variety. So I was pitching this to them, and I want to see your guys' feedback in your community. Our 3rd SKU, we're looking at 2 Tritos. We currently own the one. It's Project Tower. It's a 3rd-person shooter / bullet hell / puzzle game. And we're also looking at Corrupt. It's an upcoming online, offline, really cool, like I want to say hyper speed, similar to Marvel vs. Capcom Fighter. And then
interesting.
I've also recently reached out to Big Helmet Heroes. They haven't responded yet, but that's also another one coming to PS5 that it looks like Castle Crashers. I was like, dude, this would be really fun. It has local co-op. It's a pretty cool, like, straightforward beat 'em up with like big helmet people with,
oh, man.
Castle Crashers.
Castle Crashers is such a vibe. I remember that so much, and it's like I'm so surprised it hasn't gotten any kind of like love or re-release, or like upgrade treatment or anything.
It got the remaster for the Switch, but I think that's pretty much been it. But yeah, Big Helmet Heroes is strongly inspired by that. I think players would love a really well polished. It's made in Unreal and it looks beautiful. They haven't, like, we're not currently talking with them, but I've reached out to them. But those 3 games we're currently considering for SKU 3. SKU 4, we're looking at doing a racing game, and we're looking at Fatal Run 2089, and then also Hot Rod Mayhem. Both of those are really attractive. They offer offline racing experiences. Fatal Run's kind of more like, I don't want to say mature, but it has this very dark metal hardcore aesthetic, where Hot Rod Mayhem is a very fun, vibrant party style game.
Mm-hmm.
And with like your holographic insert, racing games are, I think, perfect for that type of treatment, right? Just a way that you can kind of change things up, like light to dark, or cast water and shadows with that. Like, I think it'd be pretty cool for a racing game in particular.
Definitely. I mean, both of those games I'm excited about.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man.
It's cool to see the things that you're excited about, to kind of get a glimpse at, what people might be able to hope for in the future. But I mean, it sounds like you guys are really working hard to, put your best foot forward, get these awesome games out there, give them, the real TLC that they deserve, and make something really cool for people to get their hands on.
Absolutely. I mean, being able to work with like Deadlink, that one, they're actually currently looking for like a collector edition. So we're going to be the first release of that game to the market. So that's exciting. But also the developers themselves are actually making custom original artwork for the Steelbook. They're just super excited about it. And, it's a fantastic game. So I can't wait for players to dive into that.
Yeah, that'll be one that we have to keep an eye out for.
Definitely. I mean, if you get... I activated on our website bundle shipping. So if you want to say, hey, I'm not a huge fan of Seeddollama, but it can ship for free with my Deadlink, you can purchase the game, and then it ships with Deadlink for free at no additional charge to the consumer, whether that's domestic or international.
There you go.
Nice. That works out. Yeah. So actually, I just thought about this at random.
Yeah.
Might not be doing it right now, but like, Black Friday's around the corner, right? So, you doing anything for that with these videos, or?
No, we are not. But I can tell you, if you're respectfully on a limited budget, every developer and publisher we work with, we give them 10 free giveaway sample copies, fully boxed. So you can follow them, like them on socials, and they'll be giving away those copies once they're in hand. Following it, and probably leading up to release. Hey, so if you want to copy, if you want to copy a Seeddollama or Deadlink, definitely follow them on their socials. You could be a lucky winner.
I was going to say, that was your opportunity to say a 1% discount and knock 40 cents off. Like, nice. All right, so let's get our icebreakers in here, right? We like to have our icebreakers at the end. So, what is your favorite console to collect for?
Presently, it's a PlayStation 5, just because they have both great releases and then also Steelbook releases. Previously, I would probably say GameCube. I was a huge Nintendo GameCube fan back in the day. I'd always go to FuncoLand or GameStop and pick up new releases and used releases, and it was a really positive time.
Yeah, I love the GameCube.
Yeah,
such a great console.
I didn't actually collect for a GameCube very much until I got into my 20s. I never owned one. So it took a while.
Wish it had better third-party support. That was kind of my only thing. The Wii got really good third-party support, but the GameCube, it's it's a micro disc. We don't want to support it. It got Prince of Persia and some other games, but the bigger Call of Duty, Medal of Honor was no. We're just gonna stick to PS2 and Xbox. Like Dark Watch, I love Dark Watch. I really wish they had done a GameCube, but nope, they didn't want to. So
yeah, it's almost like with Nintendo, it skips a generation. That's what it feels like. You had GameCube, nothing. Wii, pretty good support. Wii U, not much. Switch, everything it seems. Yeah.
So don't jinx it. The Switch 2's almost here. It's gonna be fine. Okay?
But Ryan,
fine. We promise.
They already skipped it. They released the Alarmo. The Jinx is out of the way.
Okay, there we go. That's right. They had to throw that Alarmo in there.
That was the new console release. Now Switch 2 can go through and get all the third-party support.
I mean, it runs Doom.
Right.
So,
it
console
does.
launch successful.
Wow. Yeah, it does. I think we got one more question here for you.
Oh, yeah. So, last icebreaker here. What's your favorite game of all time? Do you have one?
Well, in terms of I'd probably say I'll narrow down more to like genre to racing games. It's MotorStorm Pacific Rift. I played that so much on the PlayStation 3. It just phenomenal game. For role playing game, I'd probably say Final Fantasy 12. I put so many hours in that on PS2. In terms of like an action RPG, Rise of the Argonauts. I love that game. It's like kind of like a niche game. That was really cool. In terms of like a first-person shooter, I would say Perfect Dark on the N64 or Killzone 3 on the PS3 was just sensational. Like that campaign, playing with my buddy, like split screen, absolutely like amazing gameplay experience. Like I'd love to kind of feel that like euphoria in today's. I think Space Marine 2 for in terms of 2024, that's kind of been like my Space Marine 2, and that campaign was so good. Like it felt like it was pushing like the current hardware in terms of like actually pushing it forward. I felt like it was, because there were so many games nominated for Game of the Year. I'm like, but do they really push the hardware and like what we can do as a medium forward? And I think Space Marine 2 did.
Very nice. Yeah. You mentioned Killzone. That was supposed to be the Halo killer when it first came out, and I think they hyped it way too much at that point, because I mean Halo was just above and beyond anything else in the market. Not to say I don't love Killzone, because I definitely enjoyed it, and I think I haven't beat the PS4 one yet. I forget the name of it offhand, but I have that
Shadowfall.
Yeah, have you played that one yet?
I have. Like it looked great, but like in terms of the story, it felt very convoluted. Killzone 2 and 3 had like really profound stories, but I don't know. Shadowfall just it didn't feel as impactful as it could have been.
Yeah, 3 for me was pretty good. Like I said, I haven't played Shadowfall yet, but definitely looking forward to that one. And you know, we'll see. You know, it's been a while, and I hope they release one on PS5, but it's kind of looking like that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, that's one of those. That and Resistance, they're like, Sony has these shooters. Like, why don't they bring these back?
Resistance was so good when it first came out too.
And I think because they've been on the bandwagon of trying to do their big, like, you know, huge live action games, because they did that with Concord. They tried doing it with Twisted Metal. It was a year and 6 months in development. They canceled it, and 2 other unannounced games.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Hey, at least they're not. At least they're getting away from it now. Hopefully, they can put those studios to work on stuff people want to play.
Yeah, right.
But please do like a new game, not a remaster. Like we're getting Last of Us and Uncharted remasters. Let's give it something fresh, something new, please. Like if my PS4 just works on my PS5, I'm good. Let's give me something new.
Ryan, that reminds me. Did you see the Skeletor video I sent you on the PS5 announcement yet?
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's so good. They're like, oh, are you going to release, like an audience question comes in, are you going to release any new games? He's like, did someone say Last of Us Part 2 remastered? And so they throw it on the screen. He's like, I asked, did somebody say Last of Us Part 2 remastered? Just repeats himself. So good.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to get it one day, and everybody's going to be like, why? This is like 10 years too soon for you to have done this.
Yeah, somebody mentioned to me the other day they want a Bloodborne remaster. I'm like, why? It looks perfectly fine on the PS4.
Oh no, but Bloodborne is like trapped at like 30 FPS. We need like a clean like 60 FPS, 4K, like
8K upscaling.
Give it the Demon Souls treatment.
We need Bloodborne 2. Demon Souls came out on the PS3. We need Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, I mean a sequel would be better.
Yeah, there you go. And then
I mean, if Sony winds up purchasing them, then that's
at the time of this recording, maybe they already have. We'll find out.
No.
Right. Well, JRod, definitely appreciate having you on the episode this week. As a reminder for folks, you can check out the games on freshsteelbookgames.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, freshsteelbookgames.com. You know, we have our first 2 games that we're currently working on in production actively. We got some more games coming up. Let us know what you think in terms of what you want for SKU 3 and 4, because we're currently, you know, we're talking with all these developers, seeing which ones work. Also for timeline, you know, because those will be coming spring, like Q2, Q3 of 2025, and then they'll be out, you know, about Christmas time, fall to Christmas time.
It looks like they sell it quick too. You have Die by the Blade on PS5, Steelbook that's out of stock, and then Project Tower is also out of stock. So it sounds like they're going to be coming soon, right? I'm just perusing websites.
Those ones those ones are currently licensed, but we're seeing if there's a market for those, because Project Tower got pushed back from November to January 2025, which I think is going to be really effective, because they had some more things that they were kind of tweaking before they wanted to launch. And Die by the Blade, I don't know if that'll even get a PlayStation port now. It released on Steam and not in early access, but a full release. It was very, I'm going to say, it was super mixed. They didn't kind of like meet everything that they said in their Kickstarter. So I think, that was also one of the big issues.
Okay, so those could be opportunities down the road. So they're not sold out in terms you can't get them. It's just we might.
No,
have
yeah.
them, we might not. Okay.
So we have the rights to them, but like if they come eventually.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Cool. All right, man. We'll definitely appreciate having you on. And this has been episode 316 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Ryan.
And we've been joined by JRod of Fresh Brewed Games. And thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.